I don't think we'd be able to address wards. We would have to write that exemption back into the charter ordinance that we will replace the repealed ordinance with.
Then we're...
You still...
But the ward system is not, I would argue the ward system is not the big problem. The big problem right now is the lack of a quorum at under 4. I mean, that's the critical part.
I think city business is going to be compromised in a greater fashion by delaying the appointment process till the middle of July at the soonest than it will be by appointing on May 6th and discussing these issues at a work session in May, and then bringing the charter ordinance, whether that needs to be revised, repealed, or how it needs to be addressed the first week of June. City business will be compromised at a greater detail by waiting. I think I just heard what would amount to almost 10 weeks, I believe, maybe a little bit even further than that before we would have someone in that seat for that pitch. So quorum is going to be compromised at a higher level with anyone that's going to be vacant. That means we can't conduct any business that day.
Well, and let me make it
clear, Heath. I'm not advocating at all delaying this appointment. I'm talking about addressing the issue and even having potentially a charter ordinance written for consideration and a vote on the day that we seat the new council person. I don't think that we should wait for 2 months to get a charter ordinance before the body. I think we can do that, while we have that person seated.
I think the intention is to have a special meeting where there's an action item on the agenda to be voted on upon that day. Am I incorrect, Larry?
I'm sorry, say that again.
That the special meeting, at the end of that special meeting, we'd actually be voting on the way that to be changed.
Well, we certainly should vote on the 4-person quorum. That is not debatable, in my opinion. So that could be changed immediately. Well, it could be changed as a new charter ordinance. But as long as we're putting our legal counsel to the task, let's figure out what their recommendations are about not only that portion of the charter ordinance which is flawed, but also the part that sticks the council's neck out as to whether we confirm or declare someone unfit and unqualified. I mean, those are huge, risks that are unnecessary, right? I mean, that's just not something you want to take any time to resolve. Those two big issues can delay a lot of things.
Well, I went to council meetings for a couple of years before I got elected to city council, so I probably haven't been to as many meetings as Jerry or Tori has, but I've been to an awful lot of them. Quorum really hasn't kept the city from doing business. We had a crisis for a moment, and the city relied on legal counsel and an opinion from, I want to say, the state's attorney and the League of Kansas Municipalities in order to get business conducted. I think that, listen, I want to get the quorum changed too. It's been a piece of everything that I've said, but I don't think that, and you know what? I don't have a problem meeting next week, but I don't think that we have to take this action at this time. And I promise you that I will not use the statute that allows me to have an appointment set, even if the vote is down. Christie's council president, if I get hit by a bus, are you going to...
Oh, no.
Your council vice president, if me and Christie are at lunch and a meteor falls on us...
I could hit you and
I mean,
break your Crohn's.
yeah, I mean, you wouldn't do it either.
Well,
so
the first thing I'm going to do is never operate without a quorum. So,
yeah.
I mean, I think
Well,
that decision was flawed. When you have two people confirming 3 appointments and the quorum number is 4, there's something messed up with that. So that's what I'm trying to prevent. Sounds like we should have done it 7 months ago, and we'd be at a situation now where we wouldn't have to talk about it anymore. It would be those 60 days later, and we'd already have a functional law that doesn't prevent us from carrying on city business. But as far as your comment about you don't think that the quorum in your 2 years prior is has ever been observed. I appreciate that. That's exactly my point, is that we need to fix those things, and anybody that operates without a quorum, no matter who says from the League of Kansas Municipalities, or even our own council, I mean, it's clearly a violation of the charter ordinance to conduct business with less than 4 people. So, I mean, I guess you're going to run that risk if you don't get on it now. You really should have gotten on it 9 months ago, and I proposed then. And I remember that conversation, and I said, let's solve this problem now. And you said, well, let's wait until the election. Well, that's the time that we should have solved it, was back then. And now I'm giving you another opportunity to solve it. And I guess every council meeting always involves research by staff and legal guidance by our attorney. So in the coming week, we can have everything we need ready to go to change, to make this important change by next week.
Well, at this point, I think everybody understands where everybody stands on it, and honestly, council are the people that make the policy. Council are the people that can request the special meeting if they so desire. If you and Steve want to do that, and if one of the other council members wants to do that, shoot, I'll meet on the 29th regardless, if people want to. But you know, if you've got if you've got 3 people that have signed a petition, then we'll have a special meeting on the 29th. But do I think that it's required? No, I don't.
You don't think?
I don't think that the special meeting on the 29th is required, but that's just me.
You can, without 3 votes, can schedule a special meeting. So if you're okay with it, then let's just do it. We don't need answers. We need your leadership to say, let's hash this out. Let's turn back the clock 9 months, and let's tackle this problem now, so that we're not talking about it 9 months from now.
If you wanna see, and that's the thing, I can call a special meeting, but I don't know that I can call a special work session.
Well, I want a special meeting.
Yeah.
That's what the letter calls for, but you don't have to sign the letter. You can just say, we're going to have a special meeting on the 29th, and let's put staff to work along with our attorney to find out what the best advice is to cure 2 problems. The inability to operate city government without 4 people at a council session or council meeting, and secondly, the risk that we are taking by appointing someone and then, or you appointing someone and the council not confirming them because of the resolution that we must use in order to decline that confirmation. Let's solve those problems.
Okay. Well, I want to solve those problems too, but I'm not going to declare a special meeting, so it's up to the council at this point.
I'll sign.
Thank you.
Okay.
I'll sign.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so, and Cheryl, if you could,
So
we could get,
we'll need to get his signature when he comes back.
And that's fine, but we
Okay.
can call a special meeting for
We need to get his
the 29th.
I'll be back in town on Wednesday. I can come in and sign the letter then.
That's fine.
thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Bodovich, can you tell me specifically what the agenda item needs to be for the special meeting?
I think on that letter, I
Oh, let me
wrote
see.
discussion of Charter Ordinance 19.
And what I'll do is I will put this on our official form for you all to sign.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you.
Okay.
Uh,
What does it say? What time?
7 p.m.?
Yes, 7
On the
p.m.
29th, okay. We will have a special meeting, April 29th, at 7 p.m.
Can we, one other question, can we make sure, and I don't know what all this is going to incorporate, Cheryl, from your perspective, but I think between Jim and you, I mean, what I don't want to do is come to this meeting only to have us talking about the same things over and over with no kind of full
We need
opinion
copies of
or
the
what have
ordinance,
you.
is all the pieces that we're gonna do. Every time the discussion comes up, it's here's these numbers, I've got no piece of paper to tell you what that is.
Right, and, yeah, we
Good
need
point.
something that, concrete, that we're going to discuss with
We need well-researched advice.
Well, I think we need to come up with what it is that we are going to try to